I'm only one drink away from the devil. I'm only one call away from home.
Welcome back to the Cuddy and Govy Show, www.cuddyandgovy.com. One word, Cuddy and Govy. That's our website. Our merchandise is just blowing up there, Govy. It's our new website, new and improved website. We got to get the hats, though. When are we getting the hats?
We can have the hats next week.
Everybody's asking for the adjustable hats.
Okay.
They want the adjustable hats. But we're on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. And all our reels are blowing up. We have lots of reels going on all social media. All that stuff is going crazy. So one of the big items of the reels is Govy's picks every week. And last week, I think you were 2-2.
Yeah, I was 2-2.
2-2. We're screeching to the end of the season. There were some nasty, nasty games. The way they ended, the one with Mahomes, with the freaking out on the quarterback of Kansas City, freaking out.
But you know what's crazy? We've mentioned it during our podcast.
Yeah,
if people would look at our podcast, we talked about referees and outcomes of games. And
I think the NFL is listening to us.
Well, I got to tell you something.
I think Roger Goodell is following our lead.
I mean, every week it's like the Kansas City. That was an interesting decision because the guy was blatantly offsides, lined up wrong. But what you don't know, what most fans don't know, is that that not interior linemen, but on wide receivers that line up away from the ball, they actually tell the wide receivers move back a foot. And they didn't tell him to move back a foot because they said that he was a little too much over the line, so they let it go. But most of the time, they actually tell the wide receiver, step back a little bit. And if they would have done that, Kansas City wins the game.
But, I mean, just the way these guys are making calls with 1 minute left in a game.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, imagine if that was the Super Bowl or a playoff game. And
It was the Super Bowl this year. They called a ticky-tack pass interference call
Right.
that changed the outcome of the Super Bowl.
I think maybe I agree with you with the instant replay analysis, maybe the last minute of a game or last 2 minutes of the game. But he was guilty. They were guilty of
Right.
Yeah, so. But anyway, we have Govy's picks for this week. They're going to go up on a reel. Ben's going to get them up right after the show. We're doing the show on a Wednesday. So they're going to go up on a reel real fast so everybody can bet.
Yep, so we're going to make it, we're going to go with it's going to be a favorite type of weekend. So we're going to be betting a lot of the favorites here. So we like Cincinnati over the Minnesota Vikings -3.5. Cincinnati's actually playing pretty good ball, and the Vikings already benched their quarterback. We like Indianapolis over Pittsburgh -2.5. We like Miami -8 over the Jets. Miami's going to make a statement game that they're back and they're for real. We like the Chicago Bears +3 over the Cleveland Browns. The Chicago Bears are turning the corner, and they're looking forward to next year, and they want to go with a little bit of some wind behind their sails. We like Kansas City -9 over New England, and we like the Atlanta Falcons -3 over Carolina. It's a favorite type of weekend, so go with the favorites.
Sounds great, Govy. So we're going to put them up on a reel, and people are going to go bet those games. I think, we should try and figure out what your record is so far for the year. You're better than 50-50.
Oh,
Gotta be. That 1 week you
the
were
Vig that's a killer.
Yeah,
the Vig's a killer.
That 1 week you were 5-1. But, let's talk a little bit about, the Eagles-Cowboys game. You have a kicker that kicks a ball almost 70 yards. I mean, how are they going to lose a game? It's an indoor stadium, I get it, but...
But how about his story? Let's talk about his story. So the guy never played college football. I mean, he never played college football.
Soccer player.
He played college soccer for Notre Dame. He then went into, like, that USFL for a little bit because the guy was, I think, looking to be like a UPS driver. And, he did okay. They saw he was booming it. They weren't quite sure. Dallas gave him a tryout because he's from the Dallas area. And here's a guy that hasn't missed a field goal the entire year.
He's 29-29.
And I'm talking they're in the 50s, 60 yards.
Well, the 60-yarder, he still had 10 yards. He had to go.
It's like unbelievable. You would just think that other teams would start having tryouts. I don't think it's really that hard. It's sort of like that silver lining playbook with Vince Papale, or it's why not have a
It's a
tryout?
game changer.
Why
It's a
not
game
have
changer.
tryouts for a bunch of soccer players in college and say, listen, your college career is coming to an end. Let's try out and see what you could do.
I think it's unbelievable. And the other storyline is the Giants quarterback. Talk about that. I mean, you have all these great storylines.
Tommy
this year.
DeVito is his name. He lives with his parents. He was a undrafted free agent that the New York Jets really didn't want. And the New York Giants gave him a free agent contract to see if he could maybe be the third string quarterback behind.
And talk about it. Does a third string quarterback ever really get a shot to play?
Unless there's Purdy, he did for
Yeah.
San Francisco. Unless you get these injuries,
Right.
and I got to
Or
tell you something.
concussion
Something
or
happened to Jones and Tyrone Taylor, and all of a sudden, this guy's up. And by the way, he played college ball for Syracuse and Illinois, so the guy has
some chops.
Yeah, and he has but he got an opportunity. He lives with his parents. His mom makes his bed, cooks him dinner. He lives 5 minutes, 10 minutes from the arena, and he likes his favorite food is cutlets. So the Italians gave him the name Tommy Cutlets. Is his nickname.
It's a great. Some of the storylines are great.
And his agent looks like a guy like he's from the mob from the 1950s, and it's great. It's just a great story.
So then, of course, we have Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Now, Travis Kelce was a good old country boy. Now he's going out with Taylor Swift, and he just bought himself a brand new Rolls Royce, and he bought himself a 15,000 square foot house. All of a sudden, she's remaking this good old country boy to be something different.
Well,
She's still going to love him now?
Well, it's funny. I think what she really likes about him is that she gets to see his relationship with his brother, because his brother and them have a very successful podcast. They're both grounded.
Funny.
They're from Ohio. And, Taylor Swift wants to kind of visualize who she's going to be with. And she sees that his brother, Jason Kelce, has 3 daughters, a really nice wife.
Oh, this is your conspiracy theory.
This is my conspiracy.
That she's trying to emulate a future life.
She's trying to see herself with, like what type of life. And she knows that
Got it.
Travis probably has a little bit of stay at home, can do things, but yet, has his own money, has his own celebrity, but yet can stay back from Jason Kelce house. He bought a regular little house in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And it was like a little split level. And then he went to he started buying up a lot of property around him, and he's going to have a monster house. But he's still staying local, and he wants to be a regular person.
But do you think it's a PR stunt, this relationship?
No.
Or you think it's real?
I think she's ready. I think she's finally met a match where he has his own stardom. It's not going to be a musician or anything. The guy is... he's a superstar on the field. If that wasn't that call this past week, it would have been the play of the year in the NFL this year that you're not used to seeing a tight end do. He's a sure Hall of Famer. 2 Super Bowl winning championships. He's going to have a future in podcast, television announcing.
But what do you think about, the dramatic change? He used to drive an F-150. Now he has a brand new Rolls Royce since he's
He
dating
has enough
her.
money that I think he'll drive the F-150.
Okay.
I think the guy is, I think if I'm betting, they end up together and get married. It's her first husband that she'll have.
I'm not going to bet against you on that one. It
And
sounds good.
she's from outside Philly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Where's she, Allentown or?
Like the Reading area.
Reading. So just a shout out, Tiger Woods came back, played in the Hero Golf Challenge last week, which is his golf tournament, and he was respectable. He was nowhere close to winning, but it was kind of good to see him back in golf. I know all the golfers love him. When he comes back, ratings go up, the crowds go crazy.
You know what's going to be an interesting storyline?
Go ahead.
That everybody grew up with his son, Charlie, being this little kid. And everybody, my prediction, in 3 years from now, 4 years from now, every single person is going to know who Charlie Woods is, because the swing is identical. It's like you watch sometimes a ball player and you see their son then play in the NBA. You're going to watch him on Sunday afternoons walking down the fairway of Augusta, Charlie Woods.
Well, I hope so. That would be amazing.
You're going to see it's just going to be
It
unbelievable.
would be unbelievable.
And you know how LeBron James wanted to play basketball
Yeah.
with his son? There is a much better chance of Tiger Woods playing the Masters with Charlie than LeBron James playing with his son. Because his son, Bronny, isn't that good.
Yeah, but Charlie Woods is 14. So you
I saw
think-
Jack Nicklaus. He's allowed, if you win the Masters, you're allowed to tee up until you're 70. Doesn't mean Tiger Woods is going to win. He's
I
allowed to
understand
play.
he's allowed to play until he's 70. Okay.
I mean,
good
don't
point.
you see people play with Curtis Strange right now or Fred Couples?
Hey, that would be great storyline. It'd be unbelievable. But anyway, we have a lot of stuff. We have all the University of Pennsylvania, but I want to start and Harvard and all the nonsense in front of Congress. But I want to start on this Hunter Biden because it's the story of the day. We're on our way over here, and Hunter Biden goes today that he was subpoenaed to testify in Congress, and he shows up on the other side of the street.
The Senate side.
The Senate side, because the Senate's controlled by the Democrats. And
the sergeant of arms can't hold him in contempt. They
he
can't
was
do anything.
subpoenaed by the Congress, which is the House of Representatives, which is controlled by the Republicans. And if he went over there, they could have arrested him, brought him in, and made him testify. But he went on the Senate. He gave a press conference on the steps, and then he took off. He didn't.
Yes.
He didn't stick around, do the deposition. He's in violation of his subpoena in Congress. And
this was his initiative. This is what he wanted to do. This was planned, to do. And
I just want to know, over my career of being building homes, 16,000 homes, I had tons of litigation, and I paid, I don't know, $10 or $20 million in lawyers in my career, and I didn't have a lawyer like he had at Abbey Lowe. Abbey Lowe, to show up today, probably got $25,000. Who is paying Hunter Biden's lawyers? I want to know that. How can this guy afford lawyers like this?
because they're being gifted to him.
Who's gifting him?
Well, you have the guy in the
And if-
sugar daddy in California that gave him
But then what
$3.5 million.
what does he expect in return from Joe Biden? Okay, I'm going to represent your son. What are you going to give me, Joe, if
Well,
I go give him $10 million in
what
legal
did
work?
China expect in return, or Ukraine, or Burisma? What did they expect in return from Hunter Biden? He has no experience, and they paid him. Obviously, he's telling you he got paid. What did they expect in return?
So do you think the law firm that's representing, or an affiliate law firm that's representing Hunter Biden, all of a sudden gets some huge government contract work, here, do all this legal work to get this highway approved, or, something like that, some sort of payoff?
Yeah, I mean, you could be, maybe the guy owns a production company and says, I'll tell you what, we're going to give you the story on the Bidens when we're all done. I guarantee you, we'll give you the behind the closed doors. It could be anything. I mean,
But, I think this is my conspiracy theory. The only reason he ditched Congress today and he did not testify, because he knows his dad's going to pardon him. And he went like this: fuck you, I'm going to do anything I want, and come get me, because my dad's going to ultimately pardon me. Now, Govy has a conspiracy theory on what he believes is going to happen to Joe Biden, Harris, presidency, and the future.
Right. So here's my thing. First of all, if you listen to Joe Biden, they first changed. It went from the very beginning of, I have nothing to do with my son. I don't know anything about his business deals. I don't know, what he's doing. That all switched to all right, he met the guys. Then it went from, I'm not really, I didn't take any money. Now all of a sudden it's changing where he says he's not involved in my financial business. So now they're admitting.
So he's using the word finance. He's changing. I wasn't involved to now. I wasn't involved.
Now his dad
financially.
knows everything about it, but he didn't benefit from the financial.
okay.
But that doesn't mean that a bribe doesn't take place, because as long as someone benefited, just like Joe's grandkids, each came into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? What are they doing for China and Ukraine? And that's something you got to know, especially when Ukraine is asking for all this money. You have to know: is someone being, when you see a Chinese spy balloon coming over and doesn't get shot? These are just things that you start thinking, is the guy compromised? But my conspiracy theory is They have to come up with a way to get rid of Joe Biden not to run on this ticket. The
Uncle
guy
Joe.
just can't make it. So what they can do is they can delay this these hearings out until March, April, May. And by that time, when you have the delegates and you have these primaries, you control your primary. You control your delegates, meaning Newsom doesn't have to be on any of these primary tickets. And Joe Biden in June can say, these are all my delegates. Gavin, they're all yours now. Gavin Newsom, they can make a deal with Kamala Harris and say, I'm going to step down. I am not going to run. So it's going to be yours. But with everything going on with Hunter right now, I'm going to step down. I'm going to pardon my son. She gets to choose a vice president, Kamala Harris, for the remaining 5 months of the presidency, 4 months. She'll be a lame duck president.
So her deal is she will not run for presidency. You get to be the first black woman president for 6 months or a year.
For 6 months, she will go down in the history books as the first female president.
But you can't run. That's
But
it.
she's not going to run. She gets to choose the vice president that she can give something to that could bolster them in the future.
Right.
Gavin Newsom then will run for the president of the United States with him picking whoever he wants, or keep the vice president that Kamala Harris chose. Hunter Biden gets pardoned. Joe Biden goes off into the sunset.
Yeah, but Joe needs a pardon for his financial crimes.
Kamala Harris, when he steps down.
So Kamala Harris will pardon Joe.
Just like Gerald Ford pardoned President Nixon.
Got it. All right, I like that.
That's how it's going to play out, and it's going to be. And the thing that Newsom has to worry about is looking what San Francisco looks like today. Now that she has left, it's back to being a shithole, and you got to say to yourself, is that what you want for a president? Do you want a president that says, oh, something important's coming, abracadabra, it's all gone, and then as soon as it's not, it's back to normal? You want someone that's going to, if they're going to clean it up, clean it up.
Well, Trump will destroy him. I mean, not in the election, but in terms of all that stuff and the debates and everything. He'll bring all that up. His ads will be destroying the guy about California.
Do you think if Newsom is the candidate to go up against Trump, he will 100% debate Donald Trump, because Gavin Newsom is pretty good on his feet? He will debate him. Where if it's Joe Biden,
right?
Joe Biden will not debate Donald Trump. There will be no debates this year at all. Zero.
Well, I agree with you. Joe Biden's done. I mean, they're going to come up with a plan. I like your plan. The plan may work. If Kamala Harris will buy into it, where she says, I'll be the first woman black president for 6 or 8 or 10 months and I'm off into the sunset, I don't think she'll agree. But, maybe they don't give her a choice. But I want to talk about Zelensky. I mean, he was just here in America, the president of Ukraine. It's really bothering me, the outfit that he wears. I mean,
Me
no.
too.
I mean, it's driving me crazy. The guy is with the President of the United States. The guy is in front of Congress. He's with the head of the House of Representatives. He's with the head of the Senate. The guy is wearing these army fatigues. I get it. You're in a war. But come on.
I agree with you. So, you want to know something?
Wear a suit.
You're on a plane for 14 hours. Like Air Force One. I've flown to Japan plenty of times. I change sometimes into flannels, like pajama bottoms for my 18-hour flight.
Right.
I used to pass out 5 times. And then when I land, I get ready, I put on my tie and jacket. This guy didn't just walk off the battlefield for an hour and then catch the plane and then come here. Come on. Look, does he have to wear the fatigues?
I think it's terrible because it's a level of respect for America. I mean, you've given the guy $100 billion. I'm sure in his castle over there in Ukraine, he has chefs and maids and all kinds of stuff. I mean, his wife's probably walking around in Chanel and all the fancy stuff.
She's on Fifth Avenue shopping while he's here. It's a shopping trip. And I think it is. It's an insult.
I think it's just terrible. The guy, I'm telling you, Zelensky, if you're listening, you got to get dressed up. Go buy a suit at Boyd's Philadelphia or Macy's or wherever.
Things. When it's enough already? When John Federman said, I'm tired of the fatigues. Can you at least dress up? If I have to dress up and can't wear a hoodie, he could at least address Congress wearing a tie and jacket.
I think it's a bad look. But now we still have the other war, the Israeli war. Now the Israelis decided to flood the tunnels. I think that was our recommendation.
You said that a
Yeah.
month ago. They should flood the tunnels so that way you could save the soldiers from getting killed.
Well, now all of a sudden, and I said, look, we love the hostages. We feel bad for the hostages. The families for the hostages are terrible. But, the hostages are turning up dead one at a time.
Right.
Or they're coming up. The ones that are getting out are going to be ruined for life mentally because of the torture, the raping, and everything that's going on. So now I think Israel's getting smart. They're just saying, look, we lost 66 soldiers. They lost 6 more today.
And they lost some soldiers. They lost a couple soldiers yesterday trying to recover 2 dead bodies, the
Right.
hostages. So, I mean, you can't start losing soldiers trying just to bring the bodies back. They're already passed away. So, I mean, it's at a point where you got to look.
So the question, it's a math equation. You're in war. How many soldiers do you lose to save 142 people, which half of them may be dead already? Who do you
There's some generals in the United States, they're telling you, it's the part of war right now. It's, I wouldn't want it if it's my kids,
No,
but it's the type of thing where it's part of war. And Israel has to do what they have to do. They know they're on a time restraint.
the world's turning on them.
Yeah, they won't have forever to do this. They know Joe could, switch at any moment because all he cares about is the election.
And he has tough constituents, the squad that are all for the Palestinians. But let's get, we kind of lost track of the winners and losers, and, we're getting so much feedback from we're over 200,000 listeners. I don't even know the number.
Real quick, just to give you, we already touched on, but the losers, you got to start off with the Biden family. From Jim to Hunter to Joe, the entire family, because they're all going to be deposed. And by the way, just to let you know where this Abbey Lowe is an unbelievable lawyer, he has a very interesting situation right now. His situation is his job is to get Hunter Biden free. And in doing so, he won't get his cake and eat it too. If he gets off and does well, he makes Joe Biden look bad. He can't have Joe Biden, you can't have both. So if you could, for instance, Joe Biden, his gun laws, his tax thing, every time he whispers and says, pay your fair taxes. I mean, you have a son that didn't pay his taxes for 5 years, yet he's lecturing everybody, just pay your fair taxes. I mean, it's annoying. So how about you start with your family, start with your son. After 5 years, you should be able to say, Hunter, you haven't paid? You have me up here asking for people to pay their taxes. Then you have, so it's the gun thing. He's now for all these gun laws, and now he has his son who's going to try to avoid this gun thing by saying it doesn't apply to him.
But, Hunter's going to get some jail time. They'll figure it out that he's on an army base.
He's going to be pardoned,
He'll be in a country club. Nobody wants to go to prison, but a nice prison for 6 months.
Secret Service is not going to jail with him.
Yeah, he has Secret Service. You're right.
He's not going to jail with them. So that's some of the losers. I think that you.
Wait, I had some losers.
Chris Christie. Did you see the picture that
yeah,
Trump
Chris Christie. Well, he's not losing. He's big as a house.
Yeah, he's not losing. I mean, Trump every now and then throws a picture out of him in the worst possible picture you could take.
Did you see that last one? I don't even know how he sees his penis. His stomach was so big.
He doesn't.
How's he know it's still there? I mean,
I don't know. I don't even know how he wipes himself.
Yeah. And then you have Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah, that's
a sad one. His wife died. I don't know what about.
Didn't have relationships with some of his kids.
Yeah,
I mean,
one of them was in jail for drug use. But
Redmond.
He died at 82. Something happened there.
Yeah, I agree. He was, and then you have your Ivy Leagues. All of them are losers.
Boy, what a mess. Look at this girl. She lost her job, or lady, I shouldn't say her woman, whatever she was, the president of the University of Pennsylvania. Now, my conspiracy theory...
They're all women. Do you notice that, too? All these presidents are women.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But I believe she ultimately sues the school, even though they offered her severance and she has tenure and she's still going to be on the staff of the law school.
I disagree.
I think that you can take the other side of this.
She's lucky to get out the way it is.
This is my opinion. I am sure they scripted her. I am sure they coached her. I am sure they told her what to say, whoever they are at the University of Pennsylvania, and they let her stray. She messed up, and they fired her. And I think she's going to go back at the school and say, look, I said what you told me to say. And you're going to have to give. They're going to have to give you back that $100 million that you gave to the University of Pennsylvania. You're entitled to that back now, or Harvard. It's Harvard, right?
Yeah, it's Harvard. It's Harvard. But I just think that first of all, it goes to show you who's qualified to be a president.
Crazy. I'm qualified if they're qualified.
Yeah, I mean, they made special concessions for the Harvard for gay. They made concessions for her. First of all,
did you see that Saturday Night Live?
That was the worst. It was the worst.
I know, but did you see that woman that looked like the president of Harvard? She was almost identical looking.
She did. But I got to tell you something.
That was bad, though.
Where Harvard is going to look like idiots even more so is, as it turns out, that this president of Harvard plagiarized, and that is a code of conduct that you can be kicked out of school. They kicked out 34 students last year, and before that, 10 years ago, they had a scandal where it was into the hundreds. And they have proof that you could see it side by side. She will have to step down within a month, and it will be because of plagiarism, which is what they had a perfect opportunity. And the lucky one is the president of MIT, because no one even knows her name.
Right.
I mean, everybody knows McGill and Gay. And she was there, and no one knows MIT. And I think that, all this...
but it's all self-inflicted
equality,
wounds.
Equity, all this wokeism, these people aren't qualified. It's almost like if you're flying...
So let me ask you this question. Do you think if they went up there and just spoke the spoke and talked and said yes and all this other stuff, they would be getting as much criticism as they're getting doing the other thing that they did? In other words, if they went up there and said, protected the Jewish people and did all the things, do you think that they would have gotten backlash from the other side?
I think that...
I mean, there's two sides to the story. So they took one position. Now, if they took the other position, don't you think there'd be screamers saying, come on, we got to fire these people. Their positions are unfair. People are entitled to free speech.
I think they did not fire the president of Harvard, Gay, because
She's a black woman?
Because she's a black woman, and the second is I think Bill Ackman put so much heat on them that they don't want to make like Bill Ackman has the power to tell them who can be president and who can't be. And I think that in time, in a month or 2 months, you're going to see she steps down over this plagiarism thing. And I think that happens. I think that all these presidents were coached by their legal teams of what to say, and they missed the boat 100%. I think the damage to these Ivy League schools is going to take decades for them to overcome this.
It's unbelievable. I buy, I get all the Harvard T-shirts, like whatever you do, and I buy it online from the Harvard school store, bookstore. And since this happened, I get like 6-7 emails a day. I mean, before it was like once a month.
Right.
Now you get like 7 a day. They're pounding away to get it out there.
I bought my T-shirt when I was at Harvard this past summer.
Yeah.
And, you put that T-shirt on, and it was like funny. You walk around, Boca, and everybody's looking at you like you went to Harvard, and you're feeling like pretty good that they're looking at you like you're this genius. And now you put this T-shirt on, and they look at you like you're a slime ball.
They want to attack you.
I can't wear it anymore.
Anyway, so one more loser, I guess, is, the winner is Donald Trump, loser DeSantis, Christie, the Vivek. I mean, in that debate, everybody's screaming.
They're all done, basically. They're all the losers. So you can go to the winners. Donald Trump's a winner because he didn't even have to debate, and he gets stronger.
Right.
He watches these people fight, and he gets stronger. Nikki Haley is absolutely a winner because she's moving up, where it's between her and Trump. That's going to be, if it's not Donald Trump that will be president of the United States, it will be Nikki Haley.
It will be. Look, I think Nikki Haley, where Trump failed the last time, was with the suburban moms. And I think that Nikki Haley gets the suburban moms. I think she totally appeals to that market, and I think she'll do really well.
And she touched on
and
one.
She's tough.
And she touches on one subject that I give her credit. You know, sometimes you have to maneuver on how things are going to go, and you don't know if you hit the right perfect thing. Her perfect situation is when she says, "I think Donald Trump was the perfect president when he was here. I like his policies today. Even he was but he brings chaos to everything, and I think the country is tired of chaos." That is saying, like, she's not disagreeing with the way he did things. She's actually praising him. But yes,
Well, she was part of his cabinet.
but he didn't endorse. She didn't endorse him when he ran for president.
Right.
And I do think that she's now saying, she's coming on the side saying all the right things. She's also saying that he brings chaos. It's hard to argue that there's no chaos there. I mean, he comes back, and I mean, he says things that are, I love it. I love when he sits back and says what you want to hear. Like when he says, you know, like, if Yemen's doing something, what would he do? He would just bomb the shit out of them.
Right, he would bomb the shit out of him, or he says, I'd be a dictator on day one.
Right,
I
and
like
then
that
do you hear
line.
how the media, by the way,
Yeah.
takes dictator on day one, they run with the headlines, dictator.
He says, drill, drill, drill,
And
close the border.
Boom.
That's it.
And you want to know something? Everybody who listens to Donald Trump or Fox News, that's all they hear is perfect. That's what I want to hear.
Well, I think that was his own fault because he used the word dictator. I'll be a dictator day one. I mean,
And that's all they cut to the
he
thing.
shouldn't have said that. But in terms of the winners, you have to say that Elon Musk, when they interviewed him, when that Ross Serkin interviewed him, and he said, I don't care. You can't bribe me. Fuck you, Bob Iger, president of Disney. You take your advertising and shove it up your ass. I mean, that is so cool that a guy has the ability to do that.
Well, you know,
I mean, I understand he's the richest man in the world, but, you know, most of the time you have to bite your tongue. This guy just said, look, goodbye. I don't need you.
you want to know something? What's crazy is they had in the paper the other day. They showed you what these guys were worth in 2012 and what they're worth now.
Who's those guys? The
It would be
politicians?
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. You get to see, you know, Elon Musk in 2012 was worth, I want to say like $25 billion.
How do you live on that?
Well, but he went to $245 billion
Right.
in the 10 years. Jeff Bezos went up like, you know, $100
And he
billion.
still gave his ex-wife 30 or 40 billion
Yeah, I mean.
to go with Lauren
But,
Sanchez.
yeah, I think Elon Musk is, you know, that's one of the benefits that you can, like, use your money. And by the way, speak the truth. Now people are scared. Like, Republicans have now Twitter, or X, you know, formerly of Twitter, and they have Fox News and some other networks rather than just getting your news from ABC News, which is so distorted at night. It's bizarre how the news is just. That's where Donald Trump said fake news. You just listen to the way they report a story is unbelievable.
Well, I think, you know, we had Cuddy Jr., one of the frat boys last week. All my kids, 3 of my kids were down here over the last 3 weeks, and I don't have a TV in the guest rooms. And I said to him, geez, I'm sorry, I don't have a TV in the guest rooms. And they say, Dad, we don't even watch TV. They stream everything on their phone. I mean, that's
So it depends where you get your news, you know. That's why.
Yeah, they get their news on the phone.
That's why, like, you know, part of the winners is, like, you got to see, like, they might not know that part, to me, a winner is all these airline pilots that got fired because they didn't take,
That's a
they
great
didn't get COVID.
story.
Now they're begging these guys to come back.
So let me go over the story. So now, because of the shortage of pilots,
Right.
you know, so many of them were forced layoff, quitting, retirement, or whatever during COVID because they wouldn't get vaccinated. Now they need them back.
Right.
So they're begging them to come back. They got fired because they weren't.
And I think, wasn't they were forced to retire at like 62 years
Yeah.
old? I mean, 62 years old is like, if Joe Biden can sit there and they have no problems giving him another 4 years, you don't think a guy that's 62 years old can push a button on a plane, take it off, and land it? It's not exactly like they're going through traffic up there.
Well, I saw that movie Flight this week, you know, with Denzel Washington, you
Yeah.
know, where he flew that plane upside down. It looked pretty cool. It looked pretty tough. All right, then we have Ohani. $700 million
Right, $700 million.
for a baseball player. Now,
$680 million deferred.
let's go over who he is. The guy plays two sides of the ball. Most pitchers have a very bad batting average,
Right,
and this guy can bat.
right. He's one of the best.
He's one of the best batters,
And he can steal bases. He
and
had
he can do everything.
He can do everything.
It's like Bo Jackson was playing football and baseball.
Right, except he's just doing baseball, but he's already he's having Tommy John surgery, and you know what? The arm just can't hold up for 10 years. So I believe like $700 million is just
Think about it.
It's double Bryce Harper. It's double what Bryce Harper
It's
got.
a 10-year contract, folks. $70 million a year.
Except he's going to defer $68 million a year and only take $2 million per year, and it kicks in 10 years from now. But he's going to live on his endorsements, which are $45 million a year as of right now. It will only go up since he's in. He's a Dodger rather than an Angel, even though the Angels are both in Los Angeles. There was never a doubt that he was going to leave that market, that area, when you're having that type of money to go to, say, Toronto.
So think about that. If he has $50 million in endorsements and he has $70 million in salaries, making $120 million for 10 years, it's $1.2 billion.
Right.
Is that the math? Am I right?
But it's going to be compounded because it's going to be interest each year that it's going to be going.
Right.
So,
But he's going to have to pay California state taxes. He's going to have to pay a lot of money in taxes.
I don't know. You could set up a whole thing where the money just goes to Japan. He's only getting $2 million a year, so it's all deferred. So he can basically has to pay taxes on $2 million.
And then another $600 million guy, John Rahm,
Yeah,
the great golfer. And I think more than the $600 million that they're paying the guy to go to the Live Tour, it's devastating to like Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods.
Listen,
It's falling apart for the PGA.
Rory McIlroy can't really say too much because it's also his partner, friend in the Ryder Cup. He's European. Where you have someone like Fred Couples the other day made a comment like, he's full of shit. Everything he says about why he did it, all these different reasons, he's full of shit. The real reason why he took it is the money. And you want to say to Fred Couples is, yeah, 100%. Do you really need him to say that? 100% it was a money decision.
Well, I also think when Dustin Johnson went, he said it's a lifestyle decision because there's less tournaments.
And family.
Yeah, family. Less tournaments, less traveling.
Right.
But that's a good question. How will John Rahm be in the Ryder Cup if he's not in the PGA?
Because they're going to let him be in the Ryder Cup just like they let Bruce Koepka in the Ryder Cup.
Oh, interesting.
And he won majors. He's going to be able to play in at Augusta, and you're going to see him. And you know what? You get a couple more people that switch, and people are going to want to see TV. You're not going to want to go and see a guy named Tom Arnold on the 17th hole of the John Deere tournament. Golf will be done if they don't somehow fix this and merge it.
Well, don't you think if they lose one more major player, I mean, PGA is finished. I mean, if they lose, let's say, not a Justin Thomas, he's not going to go. He's Tiger Woods' buddy.
Right.
But, you know, if they lose somebody in the top 5, top 10, you know.
Even if they don't lose anything, I'll tell you where they lose. They lose if somebody wins a major tournament that's an unheard of name. So let's say you have a tournament, the Shell tournament or the waste management in Arizona where they all go crazy. If you take out John Rahm and you start taking out these players that could win, and some guy wins it, Cuddy wins the tournament, you turn around and say, who is he? Who is he? Now you look at the tournament like it's really not that high of a level because unknowns are winning on the PGA Tour.
Well, when's that Chinese kid coming out? The D. Bethune guy.
There's a guy named Ding.
Ding.
You watch the name Ding. Ding is a guy, he's an amateur, Chinese amateur. He's going to be the best in the world. And he reps D. Bethune Watch Company along with Tommy Paul, Jess Pagula, and Tyrese Maxey. Good group of people.
Yeah, D. Bethune, the hottest watch on the market.
By the way, they're a winner.
I think I need a D. Bethune. Is there any way I can get a
D. Bethune? MJ,
can I get a
MJ,
deal?
Michael Strahan.
What's
they're all
a D.
D.
Bethune cost? For me.
Probably like in the 100,000.
No, for me.
It is. It is.
Can't I get it for like 1,000?
That is for you because it's worth so much more than that.
Oh,
You
gosh.
would thank me for that number.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I want to go back to this conspiracy that's going on the University of Pennsylvania. So, as Govy talked about several weeks ago, University of Pennsylvania is getting over $1 billion from the Arab nations. And it's coming out now that in the last several years, there's 18% less students that are Jewish that were accepted to the school.
And they're making like they didn't know.
Now, if that's
They
a
know
fact,
everything. They know
if that's
everything.
a fact, and I don't know if they can trail it back to the Arabs saying, and I don't know if any of our 200,000 listeners are Arabs. I don't know that demographic, but if they can trail it back where the Arabs said, quid pro quo, here's $1 billion, but you got to cut back on Jewish kids getting into the school. That's a big problem for University of Pennsylvania.
Well, I think you're going to start seeing some things being exposed. I think what's great is, as you saw the hearings with these presidents, when Congress wants to now get involved, and they said they're now going to like broaden the scope of what's going to take place, they are now going to start investigating the board members of all these universities. So if you're on the board of Harvard, they're going to look into your background, your business dealings, what's your beliefs like against, are you anti-Israel? Are you, they want to know how this is projecting in the student body. So if you're like on the board of Harvard or Princeton or Penn or Dartmouth, you got it was very prestigious. You got this job. You never thought when you took this job that the government is going to be looking in on your business deals, on where you stand. I would want to resign. I wouldn't want to be part of that, but I think it's too late. And I think you're going to start seeing some of these board members are going to be exposed on who they back, what they are, and they're on the boards of some major companies that people are going to say they are actually for Hamas.
So
not Israel.
is right now, if you want to get on a board, and I tried to get on a couple boards, and I'm the wrong type. I'm short, I'm fat, and I'm Jewish. You need to be something.
You're 31-inch waist.
Yeah, now I do. But, you need to be something different. It's not qualifications, it's if you check the box. Now that they're having all these problems, do you think checking the box is off? Do you think they're going to go for the quality, the qualified?
I think the pendulum
moving in that direction.
We're moving in that direction. I think you look at the Harvard president. I think 100%.
That's a check the box.
It was a check the box.
She
She's
plagiarized.
black. She plagiarized. She's black. She's a woman. She's in. She would if she was a white
Is she
man. She
lesbian?
wouldn't
Do you
have
know
gotten
if
the
she's
job. She might be. That's just she might be.
Can you check that out, Ben? The president of Harvard, is she straight or is she a lesbian?
Right. And then, or transgender or whatever, what she identifies. And then, so then you have, everybody talks about equality. Think about this. All these presidents, I think the president of Brandeis University, how many presidents are women?
It's unbelievable. When you look at the panel, well, 3 of them were women right there.
But there's I think more of the Ivy are women.
Look at University of Pennsylvania. It was Rodin, and before that, it was another woman.
So it's turning into this Me Too movement where everything cared about if they were discriminated, if they had all the sexual abuse that they took. Yet, if you're a Jew, if you're a Jewish woman, you don't count.
So it's all going to change. Maybe it's the most qualified to get on these boards to run these schools. I remember. Through the years, my kids went to these Quaker schools in Philadelphia, and all the headmasters always turn over every 5 or 10 years. And they did all these executive searches for these headmasters, but it looks like it really doesn't even matter unless they check the box because the people they selected checked the box.
Right, I agree.
Especially in the school that the Cutman Jr. went to.
So from Harvard, her name's Claudine Gay, right?
Right.
She's not gay.
Oh, she's
but
not gay.
everything that I was looking up, it was like gay.
No, that's her name.
But that's her name.
That's her name.
So no, she has one child, and she is married to Christopher, a male. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So that knocks that out. Anyway, Govy, we're running out of time. I just wanted to tell you I'm leaving town tomorrow. I'm headed up north for a couple days to spread a little Christmas cheer.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm
Going to Philly?
I'm going to Philly.
It's going to be cold.
I'm going to go to New York. You're talking about cold. So my son, who lives in New York, Cuddy Jr. here, he was at my house in Philly over the weekend. You know, he was banging around in Philly, and he calls me up and he says, "Hey, Dad, there's some great winter coats in the closet here. Can I have them?" I said, "Sure, take them." And then I decided I'm going to go up there. So I don't even think I have a winter coat up there, but you know, I'll go in the Boyd's in Center City, Philadelphia, and buy myself a nice winter coat.
Yeah. Great store.
Best clothing store in
You know,
Philly.
there are not too many of these stores that are around anymore, these icon men's stores. I mean, they really, you know, they used to have like Rubenstein's in New Orleans, and there's Louis in Boston and Boyd's in Philadelphia, but...
What was it, the Army Goldberg's Army? What was that store? That was a great store. Goldberg, that was great. How about the...
But Barney's was a big, prestigious brand in New York, and that's, you know...
And how about the store that Michael Rubin bought that was Mitchell's? Or what
Mitchell and Ness.
Yeah.
I used to get my stuff from Mitchell and
Yeah,
Ness.
that was a great store. They don't exist anymore.
No, he bought them. They're coming back. They're going great now. They're great
and
now.
what was the store on Walnut Street that sold all the baseball gear and everything?
Pearson's Sporting Goods.
Pearson's, remember them?
But you know, I got to just tell you one thing. I just want today, Oprah Winfrey came out because everybody's talking about her weight loss.
She looks
great. Looks great. And for everybody out there I want you to know that Weight Watchers, because the Jenny Craigs of the world are going under because of these drugs, Weight Watchers teamed up with Ozempic. So if you go on Weight Watchers, you could also do Weight Watchers plus Ozempic, which is the drug the needle that you take to lose weight. Now they asked Oprah Winfrey, did she use Ozempic, the weight loss drug, to go with Weight Watchers? And she finally came out today and said, yes, she is using a weight loss drug. Now, they asked if it's Ozempic, since that is the one that is with, and she did not answer. And my little conspiracy theory is Mounjaro is better than Ozempic, which is the competitor.
She's on Mounjaro?
And I think that she's on Mounjaro. She doesn't want to get caught in the lie that she's taking Mounjaro and not Ozempic. But and if she tells everybody she's taking Mounjaro, then everybody will hurt the stock. It would crash. It would crash immediately because of the power she has with it. And she doesn't want you to know, but my guess is Oprah is on Mounjaro, not Ozempic. That's just my conspiracy.
But I saw her yesterday on TV, and I don't understand. She's been heavy her whole life, up and down, and she looks amazing. But you would think she would have hanging skin and everything, but her face is perfect. I mean, how does she do that?
Well, she's worth billions. She can do stuff like that.
Yeah, she probably had some plastic surgery.
Was she on TV trying to get some more land in Hawaii? Or?
No, she was just she was talking about something, but she was in some purple outfit. She looked amazing. She was thin. I took a double take. I didn't recognize her. Anyway, Ben, and then the following week, do we have a show, or we're closed for Christmas, or?
Or are we going to be on the road? We might take our show on the road.
We're going to go man on the street on the road. We now have mobile equipment.
And we should ask the audience to give us a little response. Let us know if you want us on the streets of Worth Avenue in Palm Beach, in the Design District of Miami, in the streets of Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale. You tell us where you want us to be, and we'll do some on the street interviews.
Right. We're going to do some we want to talk to some dogs.
Yeah, and any feedback. Anybody that wants to give us how we do, any suggestions, you can give us some feedback on our site.
We're going to interview people on the street. We're going to ask them tons of great questions, and we now have our mobile equipment now that we are podcast superstars, and it's going to be exciting. We're going to change our format a little. Ben, don't worry, you'll still have a job. We're going to come back to the studio here, but we're going to take it on the road for the week you're closed.
All right, sounds good. Cuddy, I wanted to show you. You are very right on Oprah. Like, she's looking great.
That's the purple outfit.
Is this the
I
purple
saw.
outfit? Oh.
Yeah, slide it over a little. I
Slide
can't
it
see
over
it.
a little. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
No, it was a pantsuit. It was a pantsuit.
No, that's the-
I
that's
think
the
it was. I think it
it's
was
this one.
I think it's this outfit.
I
Hold
see
on.
it.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. She was obese.
Right. Well, she's went up, went down, went up.
Look at her. She must have lost 100 pounds.
But let me ask you a question. She is involved with Weight Watchers. She's a major shareholder and everything. If she told everybody that she was on Monjaro,
Right.
the stock would crash.
Yeah.
Is she still with that Stedman Graham?
Yeah.
She's still with that guy?
How about
good-looking guy?
her best friend? She's still on chat. She's
Yeah.
making, what, $30 million a year, her best friend?
We got to get in with Oprah. She could blow us up
I gotta
past
tell you
200,000 people.
She could pick
Think
her
we could
nose
get
and
her
sell
on
the boogies and make a ton of money.
We could get her on the show. When we should go out to Montesino, California, interview her.
Or
Well,
Hawaii.
now that we have the mobile
Isn't she down
equipment-
here? She has places everywhere, doesn't
I
she?
think Hawaii and Montesino. Who knows? Anyway, Govy, I'm going to travel tomorrow.
We'll be back next week, though.
I'll be back next week. I want you to have a great week. Everybody have a great week. The weather here in Florida has just been unbelievable. It's just the nicest time of year.
Yeah.
Today's a little rainy, but the rest of the week was great prior to today.
High today, 72 degrees. We have our fireplace on today.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
It's
pretty
electric.
amazing.
It's electric. But it's
At
on.
least you have a fireplace.
Yeah.
I don't have a fireplace. All right, folks, have a great week.
See ya.
Take care.
'Cause I'm only